Farm, family, community. This is Midwest Farm Weekly.
Good morning, I'm Elaine Wells, and thank you for joining us on Midwest Farm Weekly. In your news headlines, first crop hay is underway across the state. In Wisconsin, we head into the summer with less hay in storage. It's down about 30% compared to this time last year. Nationwide, we have built up our supply a bit with 21 million tons of hay in storage. That's a jump of nearly 50% from 2023. A few Wisconsin farmers reported cutting hay in the past week. All hay conditions remain rated at 74% good to excellent statewide. The latest WASDE report provided the first glimpse into crop supply and demand for our upcoming season. For corn, the news was cautiously optimistic. Projected ending stocks for the new crop were significantly lower than February's estimates. This suggests tighter corn supplies and potentially higher prices compared to initial expectations. Soybeans, however, face a different situation. This report indicated a heavier supply side, raising some concerns about price declines unless demand keeps pace. Overall, USDA's commodity price forecasts for all crops pointed toward lower levels compared to 2023. Delays due to rain have hampered progress with corn planting across the U.S. It's now lagging behind the 5-year average. And that same outlook shows milk production in 2025 is forecast to increase from this year, driven by higher milk per cow and an expanding milk cow herd. The all milk price forecast about $20.90 per hundredweight for next year. Cheese and butter prices are raised in these estimates, but the whey price is lowered. The report also increased the projected average for this year to just over $21. Winter wheat production is expected to fall a bit in Wisconsin this year. Farmers are harvesting roughly 15.6 million bushels for the upcoming season. That's a decrease of 11% compared to 23. Despite this overall decline in production, yield per acre is expected to slightly increase. Despite the decrease in production and harvested acreage, Wisconsin's winter wheat industry continues to play a vital role in our state's agriculture sector. A nonprofit named Farm Rescue is putting down roots in Wisconsin. They are a lifeline for the agriculture industry when the unexpected pulls a family or valued team member away from their farm.
It's neighbors helping neighbors. I'll say that our neighbors just come from a little bit further up the road than most.
Since its inception in 2005, Farm Rescue has assisted more than 1,000 farm and ranch families.
And it was all about, providing a helping hand to those farm families that are going through injury, illness, or natural disaster. We come in with equipment and volunteer workforce to help during a specific season, whether it be planting, haying, harvesting, livestock feeding, just to get them through that hopefully short-term crisis and on to the next growing season and hopefully leave something for the next generations.
This team knows how hard it can be to ask for help.
Farmers and ranchers are some of the most prideful people you'll ever encounter, and there's good reason for that. There's a lot that goes into bringing in a crop or raising cattle. So yeah, it's not easy to admit when, even in the most difficult of circumstances that you maybe need a little extra help. And oftentimes the neighbors are ready and willing to help when there is a need, but that's not always a possibility, especially, in the world we live in now. The farms are getting bigger and there's fewer neighbors around to provide that support, and they have pretty narrow windows of their own to get that crop in or get that crop off. So we're kind of that stopgap.
Their formula taps into a network of 600 volunteers from 49 states with equipment at the ready.
We make sure that the crop is taken care of as good or better than the family could do themselves. We've got wonderful support from John Deere. We have John Deere equipment. It's all modern and up to date. We can, in some cases, use the family's equipment if that's necessary.
People in need can apply or be nominated for assistance.
Sometimes it helps just to get a little nudge from a spouse or a relative, a neighbor, just someone in the community that knows of a family that's going through a difficult time. We're a stranger to a lot of these places, and so it's about making connections locally, whether that be through individual farmers or businesses that can support us as well. And a lot of times it helps to have those those people on the local front that can kind of vouch for the work that we're doing.
With the many uncertainties of farming, finding someone to help doesn't have to be one of them.
It's the greatest blessing and the greatest honor that we have is to see those families continue on that legacy and again, hopefully for future generations.
For more information about Farm Rescue's mission to nominate someone for help or to learn how you can support the organization, whether that is through volunteering or financial assistance, you can connect with them online. We have a link in the Midwest Farm section of wearegreenbay.com. A Green Bay business owner was recently recognized for the company's positive environmental impacts. Local 5's Ryan Kudish shows us how to minimize food waste.
Corey Groshek is the founder and CEO of the food scraps pickup service known as Greener Bay Compost since 2021. Recently, the Clean Water Action Council of Northeast Wisconsin recognized Groshek as its Environmental Citizen of the Year for 2024 during its council banquet. The council highlighted Groshek's commitment to taking food waste from producing harmful methane gas at landfills and turning the scraps into a useful soil amendment. When food breaks down, it releases that toxic methane gas that is not effectively captured as it escapes into the atmosphere. Groshek said this award would not be made possible without the residents that share the same mission as he does.
Winning the Environmental Citizen Award from the Clean Water Action Council of Northeastern Wisconsin is a big deal for us here at Greener Bay Compost because it's a testament to the great work that we and our subscribers, both our residential and commercial subscribers, have been doing for the last 3 years.
According to their website, the business has surpassed 180,000 pounds of food waste diverted from landfills and has increased its residential subscriber numbers to over 200. Groshek says by winning this award, he must give credit where credit is due.
We see it at Greener Bay Compost as this is a team effort. Us and our subscribers together are Greener Bay Compost. The work we do with diverting all this valuable material from our landfills would not be possible if it wasn't for the love and the support of all of the people who've been using our service for the last 3 years.
And that's Namely Speaking. I'm Ryan Kudish, Local 5 News.
Well, Jeremy Hansen here from Fox Valley Technical College for Life on the Farm. And joining me today is Nathan Nicolay. Nathan, thank you for talking with me today. We're actually joining you in one of your classes today, correct?
Yep, I'm in the planting class right now.
Right, and we're actually out in the field planting corn. And can you tell me a little bit about your program of study?
I'm a student in the Ag Power Equipment program at Fox Valley Tech.
Mm-hmm. And again, this is our last week of the semester, and what a great classroom, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So, you're going to be actually in a few minutes in the tractor planting corn. Can you tell me a little bit about what we have on our planter?
So there's a lot of technology on our corn planter. We have precision seed meters and seed tubes, so power drops. We have variable rate fertilizer. We have pneumatic downforce on our closing wheels. We have Yetter trash sweeps on it. So some of the cool technology that we got available. Right, and everything's recorded or monitored live actually as well, correct? So your instructors can keep an eye on you, correct? Yep. Okay. Well, Nathan, driving tractor and planting corn is exciting, but this is a class. So what else do you have to do out here today? So for our lab, we're out here digging seeds, checking on placement, planting depth, checking on the total population versus the population that we're shooting for in the tractor. And we're going to be calculating all of our different numbers once we get back to the classroom. Right, and all of which are on the monitor, but you're doing it by hand as well just to verify it, correct? Yeah, it's a good way to learn exactly what all the numbers mean to us. Tell me some of the benefits you see in doing this out here today. I mean, how is this useful to you? So I like to be able to understand exactly how everything's working. I'm a service technician. So just seeing how the planter is running in the field, not just in the shop, and understanding the processes that we're making happen. So right, and you mentioned you're a service technician. Do you have plans after you graduate? Yeah, so I work for Reister and Chanel as a service tech, and I plan to stay with them for a while. Right, and what is your role basically going to be with them? Is it going to be on the planter specifically or everything? A little bit of everything. It's kind of hectic around there sometimes, busy and stuff, so I try and work on a little bit of everything. Okay. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for your time and letting me interrupt you in your busy day today. You're welcome. So, Life on the Farm, I'm Jeremy Hansen.
In the shadow of this giant rabbit in northeast Minneapolis.
This is Max Rabbitat.
You'll find Alyssa Isle tending to the California Street Farm. The organic produce here goes to local families, restaurants, and farmers markets to nourish her community.
I love food so much. So for me, like, food is this great connector.
But earlier this month, it was Alyssa who needed help when a fire at her duplex wiped out months of work and almost leveled the operation.
It was completely overwhelming, I would say, in that moment.
But then her friend asked other farmers to step up. She made a list of what Alyssa needed to keep going, and the produce poured in.
From Hager City, Wisconsin to Litchfield. So we've got shishito peppers, sweet peppers,
and
kale.
All of this was donated?
All of this was donated by farmers across the state.
Some are friends like Chris Barth, who donated plants and greenhouse space.
It's been kind of a groundswell from all the farmers who have kind of been there, done that. It's a testament to the community that she has also fostered around the farm that she has.
Some of them she's never met.
But what do you want to say to them?
Oh my God, I want to say thank you so much. There's no way that this farm would be able to continue to run without that support.
But now she's heading into the season stronger than ever.
I think it's going to work. We're going to make it happen. Feeling like you have a community of farmers holding you up and supporting you is just the best feeling in the world.
Are you ready to rumble? We're headed into truck and tractor pull season. Kevin Stair is here from the Mishicot FFA alumni. Good morning to you, Kevin.
Good morning.
How did this annual event get started?
Get started a couple of years back because we wanted to raise money to support the local FFA chapter, the Mishicot chapter.
So when is this year's big pull?
The big pull is June 1st. It's sort of like the first pull of the season. And it's trucks as well as modified tractors, as well as garden tractors and stuff like that. And it starts at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I'll go to the last pull, usually ends around 9:30. It's free and open to the public, and it's in Mishicot down by the river.
If I'm going to be there from 1 until 10 p.m. I need some food, Kevin, and I understand you guys do it right.
Right. Michelle is in charge of the food tent, and she does an excellent job, and there will be food. And that's how we make our money to support the FFA chapter.
Talk a bit about that. In what ways do you, in turn, support our agricultural leaders of tomorrow?
Okay, our agricultural leaders of tomorrow, as we see in schools, budgets have been cut. Yeah. So the way we can get kids to events and contests is usually with the support of the FFA alumni. And that's where all the FFA alumni, no matter where you are, support the chapters.
I understand Mishicot has a lot to be proud of right now.
Mishicot has a real lot to be proud of. They qualified in the floriculture area for a team. They won the state, so they compete at national convention next fall.
Congratulations to them as well. Why is it important to you to support FFA?
Well, I was an old FFA teacher at one time. In fact, I taught in Mishicot many years ago. But I think it's great to see these kids develop. That's always been a goal of mine to see this. And I think it's very rewarding coming back to a community where you worked at one time and helping them.
Let's talk about the setup for this truck and tractor pull. Do we need to bring lawn chairs? Is there bleacher seating?
There will be bleacher seating, but some people, the bleachers are wood. And sometimes most of our people will probably bring some chairs because they're much softer. Otherwise, you can sit on the ground and the blanket. We have lighting. We have additional lighting there so people can see what's going on. On these tractor and truck pulls, we notice that sometimes they're very loud.
Sometimes. So bring hearing protection from home, right?
If that's what if you're going to be close, bring the hearing protection. But it's a great opportunity for people to do a free event. This is really the kickoff for the summer season.
Well, we are excited to hear the rumble in Mishicot. If you are looking to attend the event, as mentioned, it's Saturday, June 1st. Head to Mishicot Village Park and support our youth in FFA. Thanks for being here, Kevin.
Thank you for inviting me.
The Luxembourg-Casco School District is growing its involvement in the Farm to School program. More than 67,000 districts nationwide participate through the USDA. I stopped by for lunch to see how they are shrinking the miles from farm to table.
Thank you. Everyday meals start with cooks who come in every single day and bake all of their bread from scratch. So we are looking at a home cooking environment for our students.
Recipes now using more local ingredients.
Today, the ground beef that we are actually serving in our Sloppy Joes was a partnership with an actual farmer. So that is a Angus meat that came from the La Captain farm and was processed at Paulie's Chop Shop.
Using grant funding, the Luxembourg Casco School District explored new partnerships and were surprised to find out, in many cases, they also saved money by shopping local.
So we have partnerships with Solomon's Meats for ground beef and hot dogs. We have partnerships with Otto's. We have partnerships with Ron's and Agripure Dairy for our cheeses. Certainly in the fall, we partner with our orchards, Hillside and Thay's Orchards for our produce. So there's all different kinds of people that we work with to get the freshest possible food into our serving line.
In addition to working with local producers and processors, some of the food is being grown by students.
Kids are pretty excited to see, especially the kids that get to grow it. Once in a while, they'll put up like a little sign saying like, hey, this is grown here at school. And kids are really excited to see that they actually got to help put a hand in that.
Seeing their options as a consumer and possibly finding a career.
So I think it's really cool, all the hands-on stuff. A lot of kids aren't really from that kind of background, so hopefully we'll get more interest in kids wanting to like do our YA program or go in there during the horticulture classes and help us grow things.
The next step for the district includes adding more indoor grow towers so students can have a hand in producing even more of their menu. That powerful geomagnetic storm that showcased the northern lights also caused some navigational systems and tractors and other farming equipment to break down at the height of planting season. Several implement dealers across the nation sent out advisories to their customers saying the GPS networks were down or significantly impacted. Some farmers were forced to park their planting equipment and wait for the service to be restored. And while they are able to plant manually, this GPS mapping is used throughout the entire season to accurately apply pesticides and even harvest. So without an accurate initial map while planting, the entire growing season would be impacted. Farmers, of course, rely on the technology to keep their rows straight and avoid gaps and overlapping. This disruption comes as we approach a big deadline when farmers say planting needs to be accomplished or they run the risk of losing yield. Equipment dealers believe this was a historic event and something that farmers will not have to deal with on a regular basis.
Good morning, I'm Storm Team 5 meteorologist Alexis Staniak. Nice to see our drought monitor showing primarily positive numbers as we head towards the middle of the month of May. In Green Bay, we're about 3/4 of an inch above average for this time of the year. Pierce, South Dakota, about an inch above average, and down through Omaha, that's where we start to see more of a drought build in as temperatures and rather numbers are below average. So far for the entire year, precipitation in Green Bay, we've accumulated almost 10 inches of total precipitation, so that does include snowfall and rain. Higher numbers further to our south and west, and lower numbers off to our east there. Now, as we look at precipitation departure since January 1st, we are above average for precipitation for the entire year, as well as the month for most areas. Some spots do have those below average numbers like Wichita, Kansas, Des Moines, Iowa, and down in Louisville into Kentucky. Throughout the next 10 days or so, we will accumulate a little bit more precipitation than what we've seen here so far this month. Green Bay looking to accumulate about 2 1/4 inch of rain, as we do have a couple rounds of showers to move through. So naturally, Climate Prediction Center does have us in this above average category for precipitation as we head within the next week to 2-week stretch. As we look towards the precipitation outlook for the next 3 months, showing we do have the equal chance to go either above or below precipitation for most of the northern Midwest, below normal further west, and then above normal the further south and east you go of Green Bay. However, we will start to cool down as we head towards the end of this month, as the Climate Prediction Center has our temperature outlook looking to be in a below average category for temperatures, although the week ahead will be warm. 71 by Sunday afternoon here in Green Bay, very warm to our south and west. We'll go back into the mid-60s by Monday. Notice 80 in Chicago to start off this work week, and then we keep temperatures primarily in the mid-60s here in the northern Midwest towards the middle and end of our upcoming work week. Thank you for joining this edition of Midwest Farm Weekly, and we'll see you again next week.